I just don't want us to have to feel plain. I
Hmm.
want us to feel, I appreciate women, boss chick women's, hardworking women, and I feel like,
Hmm.
there's a time always to look good, so
Yeah.
swimsuits make you look good, make you feel good.
That's
Sun.
what I'm talking about. You can't go wrong with it, swimsuit. Shoot. But yeah, no, that's all I was saying. Like a lot of that stuff. We may have to do something where maybe you can help us with the what is it? The relationship portion of the channel and stuff. Like we can call in and get your side of things because you have a unique point of view with your approach to certain things too on a relationship dynamic. So I think that would be kind of cool, have like a panel of people and just approach it from a different viewpoint or a different way.
Okay. I'm kind of scary on that one, but some are doing great jobs on those panels. I feel like you're the best on that. You're talking about relationships. I feel like you're the best. I have seen some panel, I forget his name, but they're doing great on it, like covering it
Hmm.
and the sprinkle lady. I think I bring an approach that's just too hard because it's like I seen recently one thing that I did see was on TikTok. A young lady was saying, she said, I'm a foster um, product. And she says, I don't have that kind of heart. And I thought that
Hmm.
was so brave of her to say that
Hmm.
because so many
Hmm.
people assume everybody has a heart. And just because you're a lady, you're
Yeah.
soft, and they don't understand sometimes there are so
Mm.
many things that stone us that we can
Yeah.
look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, people are so hurt and closed. You're not reaching
Mhm.
them. And then when you feel like women are being gold diggers or just after you, it's not that. They don't even feel the same. So
What I think it is the dynamic of having someone that has a unique viewpoint because that's their reality.
mhm.
They can explain it better. Like it's hard for me. I could tell someone don't go to prison, but if I haven't been to prison, the people that are outside doing dumb stuff, they may look at me and be like, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
So it's like you can't talk about it if you ain't live it. So to have somebody with that unique viewpoint, I think is important because if you don't cover those viewpoints, you don't even know it exists. Or
Mhm.
you think it's a fabrication. You just think someone's playing, but they don't know, okay, this is that. I remember when I was younger and like even the marriage that I had, it was like I thought if you're decent to someone, that's, that person's going to recognize you being decent to them.
Mhm.
But that might not be what they recognize.
Mhm.
They may
And
look at it
sometimes
like,
decent is scary. Decent
yeah,
is scary. For me, decent is scary. For me, it's making
mhm,
me vulnerable.
yeah,
So you're a good character, a good guy, wholesome,
mhm,
faithful. But for me, it looks like that's a trap. And
yeah,
love is not what they want to feel. They want to feel safe, but it just takes a lot more that when
yeah.
you're soft, not soft when you're wholesome like that, it just makes me feel what's behind the game.
What's
Um
behind it? Yeah.
yeah, so you're right. A lot of people will assume because you're great. So it's like when I say good people finish like you will assume, well, I'm great, they should be giving it back. For people in my dynamics, it's just scary. Now, if you
Yeah,
come out straight up, probably be a little bit violent, I get it because that's my norm.
yeah,
My
yeah.
norm is not to have someone that's true. So when it's true, it's sometimes it's harder to feel. So we
Yeah,
don't mean to hurt, it just happens.
no, and I think that's such a important view, because the thing is when you're in your natural habitat
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you've dealt with the whole time, when something comes in that's different, even if it's something that you think you want, because I think a lot of times what happens is people hear these things and they think that they want them until they realize what comes with it. It's like I
Mm-hmm.
can sit there and tell you I want a Bentley, right? But do I
Mm-hmm.
really want to make $3,000 a month car payments and
Right. Right.
or $2,000 to change spark
Mm-hmm.
plugs and oil? Like, do I want these things?
Mm-hmm.
I think I want it until I get it, and then when I get it, I realize this is too much. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what your experience, what you're saying, that could be somebody that experienced it is like they look at something, they're either waiting for the next shoe to drop because they don't believe it. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's quicksand, because at that point, if I try to go above and beyond to try to show you how much I care,
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a warning sign to you, like this can't be real.
Yeah, you're making me commit. And
Yeah.
commitment is something that
Hmm.
some people haven't experienced commitment. If you didn't have a
Yeah.
family to commit to you, I
Yeah.
mean, the one person in your life that was supposed to commit to your mother, your
Hmm.
father, that was supposed to keep me, how am I supposed to trust you to commit? So when you come
Yeah.
at me and you're saying, oh, this is
Hmm.
great, you're making me to commit to something, and commitment is not what we're looking for. We're looking for it deep inside, but honestly, it's something
Yeah.
that's scary. So you make me
Yeah.
vulnerable, and then you're trying to make me commit. So it's like you're taking it all at one time. And I think
Yeah.
you just have to be patient when
Yeah.
you have those you can't really take I hate to say you can't take it personal with those kind of ladies, but you can't take it personal with people that are broken.
But I
That's
think that's such an important, you know, uh, point that you're making, because I think a lot of times what happens, like you overcommit, thinking I'm gonna show you by pouring even more on, and it's like sometimes less can be more.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just different approaches, or having to show somebody a different way
Hmm.
to get that same message across. And like you said, it probably is going to take a lot more time because, you know, the way that they used to processing information and looking at your patterns, they got to look at it. And it's funny that we're mentioning this because in the movie that we're doing,
Hmm.
it's the same kind of thing with the main character. The
Hmm.
main character, she wants and craves a commitment
Hmm.
and someone, a loyal partner. But because of her being abused, you know, at a young age, and because she's had to fight and do all these different things, and she's been taught to be a loner and be self-sufficient. So now when someone approaches her, she looks at it like, I want this, but I don't want to give up my power. I don't want to give up my
That's
control.
hard. That's right. Yeah. And that's it. You don't want to give up you got it. You don't, it's giving up yourself is to being vulnerable. So in that state as a person, you just have to be consistent. You know,
Mhm.
consistency and saying and doing what you say you're going to do is the only pattern to break that in
Yeah,
trust because they have to
yeah,
respect you. Now, once you
yeah,
get in, you get a lover for life.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We're loyal, you're loyal. It's just a part of, a lot of people, it's just harder to get past that shield. Like I have trouble with people opening the door for me at the car door or this right. I'm like, oh, I got it.
mhm,
It's so hyper independent. I'm so used to it. And I have
yeah,
like, it's just a door. They're not asking you for your life, you
yeah.
know. Um,
But you look at
just
it like,
different world.
yeah, it's almost like you're looking at it like that's the gateway into something else. Like,
Hmm.
First it's the door,
Mhm.
now it's something crazy. So you're always
Exactly. Like,
on
what's
guard.
next?
Yeah, you're always on guard.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
like for a person, whether it's the guy or a female or whatever in that relationship, I think what happens
Mhm.
is um it makes you jaded because you you never can respect somebody for what their honest intentions could be. And then what ends up
Mhm.
happening is when you do realize it, it could be too late. And then the other
Right.
person that is on the other side of it, they get jaded because they're like, look, I'm putting all this into this person and they're treating me like this. But the problem with that is also is I think people go out with people that it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I go out with somebody that is not good for me, either if I change them into what I want my ideal person to be, it fulfills me from an ego standpoint. If
Mhm.
it fails, what happens is it fulfills me in the point of proving that I was right all along. So it's not a loss. Whereas if you get somebody that's decent and you now are like, if this doesn't work, most likely it's my fault. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like most likely I'm the one to blame.
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay, it's more pressure,
Mhm.
whereas the other stuff wasn't even supposed to work in the first place. And I think a lot of times
I
people
don't
get
know.
stuck with those. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't know because one thing you said, one, I feel like you need to work on yourself before you get in a relationship. Let's start there because
Yeah.
before, you know, I was married over 20 some years, didn't work through that. Now I wouldn't put
Mhm.
myself in that situation to give that to anybody else because I understand you have to work through
Mhm.
that. But then, second of all, you said something about you want them to change or people. You're attracted to that person initially for who they are and what they are. And I think a lot of times relationships kind of
Mhm.
foggy because we are trying to change each other. And the thing is, you already like that person for who they were. You were attracted to them for who they are. So try
Yeah.
to learn that versus trying to always fill it into what what you think you
Yeah.
need because you actually was attracted to that. So
Yeah.
that's one of my little pet peeves about fixing. I'm like, you
Yeah.
liked from the beginning.
Yeah.
So
No,
just accept them for who they are.
and I agree. I think a lot of times though, I think people like it's almost like if you're making something, you're making a cake. You start off with the cake, then you put some frosting on it, then you're like, hey, maybe I'll do this other thing. Maybe I'll put this decoration of it. And pretty soon it doesn't end up like how it started. And then
Yeah.
people get mad because they're like, well, goodness, you changed. Everyone's gonna change in life. If you don't change in life, you're probably a fool. You got to change because you have to adapt with the times,
Mhm.
whether it's relationships and anything else. Some people we like for me, I've had six-figure jobs. I had jobs where I made $50 for that month. I can't go into the life with the same mindset.
Right. Right. I can see that.
There's some people that don't have anything.
Right.
There's some people that never had anything. So I can't sit there and say, all my life is the toughest, because I've been in Afghanistan for pretty much almost 8 years straight. I've watched kids that are 4 years old working,
Right.
you know, I've watched kids that came home thinking they brought a toy home and it was an explosive device and blew their family up.
Wow. Now that's
Yes. So when you see these things, it puts a whole different light on like what we think, how we perceive things, and why things are certain ways.
Hmm.
So
I'm
yeah,
sorry, Gary, choking.
nah,
I
nah,
started choking.
yeah, nah, you good? Cause yeah, yeah. Sometimes I bury a lot of stuff in the back of my head, but I remember one. It was Mother's Day too, and oh gosh, I felt so bad. I went across the little dusty road that we was going across on the camp, and I go to see my buddies at the medical station, and I get in there, and this lady, her son brought explosive device to the house, thinking it was a toy because it's so poor. Anything that they see, they're thinking it's something, something to play with. Blew up the whole family. I don't know if the kid died. I know the husband died, and the wife, her head, they basically they had to drill holes in the skull to relieve the pressure, and then I mean her head swelled up really big. She lost an arm and a leg, and this is Mother's Day. And I'm
Mhm.
just sitting there thinking, like, wow. But the stuff that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis. So
Right.
that's why I always tell people, like, your experiences and your situation, your background, and the timing of things. Like
Mhm.
how you respond to something when you're 18, most likely isn't the way that you're going to respond when you're 40.
True. Yes.
So
True.
you've matured. You're like, hey, if this situation ever happens again, I know not to handle it this way. So I think a lot of those things are so, so important. Um, I'm all talking like it's my interview. My bad.
No, it's our interview. It's our interview. It's sharing.
So
Sharon is
yeah,
Karen. Sharon is Karen.
I that's what we
No, it's
do.
like I'm
That's what we do.
choking. I said I'm choking. I said I'm choking. You said yeah, yeah.
Nah, I wasn't sure if you was choking up or so I was like,
Choking over talking about relationships. I'm choking.
yeah, yeah, that would be you too. She's like,
I can't breathe.
look, next.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's cool that we even got into this stuff because, like I said, there's so many different things, and it relates to the character in the movie too.
Hmm.
Like, just the way things. Because the more and more I dove into like the mentality of the person and why they're this way, it really made me realize that some of this character is me. So I'm like, wow, I didn't dawn on me until I really had to psychoanalyze like why this person does this or would they
Hmm.
do this. And then after that, you stop realizing it's kind of a mirror, you
Right.
know. So
Right.
yeah.
We're
So
not for the weak.
no, 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 definitely not. Definitely not. You're gonna learn something messing with us. Yeah. So what other projects are you planning on working on in the future?
Well, I came out my book. The book, uh, The Pain, the Love of You. Thank you, Gary, for helping me see that dream. And I really would like to explore that more with maybe touring or going to conferences to talk to people that are dealing with the same thing about the pain of
Mm-hmm.
seeing themselves for themselves and embracing who they are. Because there are so many people, you know, we walk around like, when people always say, "How are you doing?" Everybody says, "Fine, we're fine." And
Like a
then,
rhetorical question.
yes, and if you really told the truth, you're like, "Oh no, I am down, I'm this," and you're seeing more suicide rates in adults, and you're not
Mhm.
understanding. And that's my whole thing about my book, The Pain of Loving You, and the journey of it is seeing yourself for what it is and just accepting it, accepting your flaws. So I would like to honestly express to people that are going through the same thing, saying it's okay. I know we say it's okay to not be okay, But I would
Yeah.
like to explore to say, let people just be free to be who they are. Let's find out who you are and let's go into your world versus my world. Because I think people, we pull each other in our worlds, you know, like when
Mm.
I'm talking about me, 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 and come see what I'm doing. But I want to go in other people's world and say, what are you and who are you? And let's explore that. So I think that's my new thing. It's just my book, getting it out there. And it's not just a book, but it's a journey to of growth.
But it's important too because, like I said, I think everyone has a book in them, and I think only you can write those certain books, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
only you could have wrote that book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people could write other books like it, but they're not gonna write that book. And that's an important thing. I always tell people also that you need all these different people to connect to because you may tell me something that could be so profound it changes something in my life and how I do something. But if I never met you, I'd be
Mm-hmm.
ignorant to that. So yeah, and like I said, it was an honor for me to help in any little way I could. Um, I try. That's what I do. I know. She's gonna put the t-shirt, the I tried t-shirt. My bad. But yeah, I
Yes, I'm making sure I try. No, you do. Yes, right. So bringing it to your
yeah.
world, you do it. But I mean, that's really what I want to do right now. It's just one of my biggest pet peeves that people say, other than I try and they're already doing it, but we won't go there, Gary.
Uh-huh.
Is people. I wrote this to tell people. I hear a lot of people say when they want to even adopt children or take a risk on
Mhm.
kids, they'll say, "Well, they're not my blood." Or you don't know where they come
Mhm.
from. And they don't understand what that impedes or puts on people for years.
Mhm.
It's felt like a charity case. I want
Mhm.
people to understand it's not about just blood. Blood can
Mhm.
be anybody. Blood can be me and you.
Mhm.
Blood is just love, and love is unconditional. And I think a lot of people are hurt and pain with that. With people like myself who will never have that. Like I'll never know what blood looks like. But I've been so blessed with so many good friends and people and things. And I think without being in my situation, like you said, I would have known that people do have, there is greatness when you're just not blood. I don't have a chance to have blood, but I have a chance to have a brother right here, Gary. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that is my journey. Like I said, the pain of loving you, the book, and the journey of just getting out to those kids that it's not where you come from, it's where you're going.
Yeah. And I would say like family is tricky because family can be who you make it. It doesn't
Yes,
like sometimes you can be born into a family, but that's just a group of people that you're born into. Some people
yes.
are not close. Some people, abusing their family and all this other
Mhm.
stuff. So like when someone adopts somebody or like you said, they host them as a foster child and all this other stuff. I think it's a little bit more powerful because you actually made a conscious choice
Mhm.
to choose that person or that group of people versus like a person can make the choice to have a baby, but for you to make a choice on somebody that you don't know,
Mhm.
that says a lot. You
Yeah.
don't know anything about them. There's nothing that you feel emotionally connected to or any of that other stuff you're indebted to, and you still make that connection. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. If you make it for the right motive, because you have a lot of
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
that
some
are
people
into
looking for
adopting and
money and
foster care, and yes, and they have the
yeah.
wrong motive or they're not ready. And the most hurtful thing to do is already be rejected and then go into rejection. It's just it's a double
Yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
Had that experience myself, adopted and still had to go into CPS. So it's a double
Mm.
sword. So people that go in, that decide to take others, hey, I think that the motives need to be clear, you know.
Yeah. No, that's important uh side of it too. So I definitely agree with that. Um Man. So where can we connect with you at?
You can. I'm everywhere. So no, I'm on Instagram as Paquita Michelle. Tag Paquita Michelle. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. You can call me on my number. It's out there. And
Mm-hmm.
903-240-5562. That's how open I am. And you
Mm-hmm.
can email me, but it's probably better to DM me or just to call me at nine zero
Okay.
three 240 5562. See, I said that again. And in English.
That's it. Well, shoot. Like I said, definitely great getting up with you and I know you get a busy schedule and stuff like that. Um, Anything I can do to help, I will. We appreciate your time and we'll be seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Have a good one.
The Pride and Egos line of athletic wear is a brand that tells a story about people representing individuality, diversity, equality. Everybody's got our own story. What's your story?
Pride and egos is the realest. Pride and egos, it isn't just a brand, it's a walking and breathing mantra, a living triple entendre. We don't follow the trends, we invent and redefine genres. Pride and egos is the realest. Global, not local. Global, not local. Pride and egos is egos. Realest. Pride and egos. Pride and egos is the realest. Pride and egos is the realest. Pride and egos, it isn't just a brand, it's a walking and breathing mantra, a living triple entendre. We don't follow the trends, we invent and redefine genres. Pride and egos is the realest. Global, not local. Global, not local.